this kind of bounces off what you just mentioned, but we talked a little bit this year about a conversation you had last year's exit meetings where you thought that Nick Foligno could be a 30-goal player. Naturally, you want everybody to improve, but is there anyone who showed you something this year? Is there any player who you think can make that kind of a substantial leap in their game?
Just based on circumstances this year, again, I'm talking about the injuries and guys in and out of the lineup. The guy who's really impressed me coming down the stretch and just watching him play and his development has been Alex Wenberg. I mean, he plays a great 200-foot game. He's smart, and I think he's just scratching the surface. I think he's got a great shot. I think he's a guy that has a lot of room for improvement as far as his goal production, and you can see that he's a terrific playmaker. So he might be the one example this year if you're trying to compare it to last season with Nicky.
I think back to last training camp, and Johansen wasn't here, and Hartnell was new, and Horton wasn't on the ice, so everything was sort of up in the air. And things could change a bit this offseason, but when you headed towards camp, and the way that you ended this season with those three lines, do you feel like you have lines now, like groups that play together and deserve a long look to time to play through dips because they've been so effective? Are you there yet with this group? Well,
it's there, but we still have some guys that were hurt. And you got Clarkson, you got Bork. Before didn't really get a chance to see David play. He just came in and really got hurt, but had more time to see Bork play. And he did some really good things for us. And to me, he's a guy that could be a force as well. So what it is a good problem to have. You're right, we had some success, and you have to look going into next season on what's happened this year as far as combinations, and they've had success, and you might lean that way. But for me, too, it's coming into camp. It's giving guys opportunities and using that as motivation for ice time and that healthy competition.
So like in the last couple of months of the season, your play in your own zone got significantly better. You spent a lot less time down there. And can you just say what you changed now that the games are done? What sort of tactical, systematic changes you made that allowed you to be more effective?
We just wanted to be more aggressive in our own zone. At times we got too passive. And when we got more aggressive, when we freed up our defensemen more to move away from the net a little bit more, it helped us out. And that was really, without getting into details of it, that's really what it was. Just trying to take away time and space more, be more aggressive. What's that? Huh? I would bore you. I need a whiteboard behind me. And then I'd lose you guys.
Todd, when it comes to Wenberg and Dano, your first...
Either way, it's all about their attitude. I've seen players, in fact, I was one of those players, that you have some success, you made it, and now you think that you're there. And you don't work as hard as you need to during the off season. And the great thing about pro sports is you have to prove yourself every day. You got to prove yourself every night in games. You might have a great game the night before, and you got to prove yourself the next day. You can't just go, I played great last night, I don't need to play great tonight. That's the great thing about sports. And now that these young guys have made it, they got to prove themselves again. And it can be hard, it can be easy. And I guess what I mean by that is in their approach to it and their attitude towards it. If they're ready to do the work, they put in the time. Because a lot of times as young guys, you're motivated to make it to the NHL. That's your motivation. And then once you make it there, you all right, I made it. Now you've lost that motivation. But now are you motivated to be better? Are you motivated to have more impact for more ice time? So choices that they're going to make this summer, really important. Are they eating right? Are they training right? Or are they out playing softball with their buddies and doing things like that?
One of the things that JD talked about in terms of improvement was your home record this year, but sort of what's lost in that is how well you guys played on the road. I wondered if you could comment on what might have been different in your approach on the road versus at home this year, or if it was just sort of the way the schedule broke for you.
Our routine stayed the same, both home and away, and it's the way we did it last year as well. It's I'm a believer in routine as far as the preparation part, getting ready for games. And we changed a couple things here and there, maybe on a nightly basis, but it wasn't anything that was shockingly different for the players. I wish I could tell you exactly what it was. Do we need to get hotel rooms here at home? No, that's not the answer. But you know, is it guys being on the road, being in hotels? Is it more of a focus because you're on the road? And I know sometimes it is that little bit of a letdown. I'm just talking, I think it's normal at times that you play some hard road games and you come home and you're like, okay, we're playing at home now, so it's going to be easier because we got the crowd, we got other things. And that's that kind of letdown where you drop your guard a little bit. And then the other team's coming in with a focus. You know, you've won 3 on the road and teams are coming in going, we better be ready tonight, guys. These guys are playing at the top of their game and might get them a little bit sharper. But we have to be better here. Have to. You know, we did a good job on the road, and I believe it was another franchise record this year, which is great. But you can't be under 500 at home and expect to go anywhere because you won't. You'll miss the playoffs.
How many players are staying here this summer and training with your staff?
I'm not through everyone yet, but there'll be a decent group of players. I don't have the exact number.
Todd, Joey yesterday in talking to us, it kind of sounded like what he told you guys in his exit meeting was, I need you guys now to trust me to be internally motivated, and that the message you guys sent him was, yeah, we trust you to make that step. Is that the way you see the relationship right now?
As far as Joe pushing himself? Well, I think every athlete has to have that, and the great ones do. The great ones have that. And again, I've talked about it a number of times about Joe, and I think you guys all see it and know what he means to this team. And you see those moments where he dominates a game and dominates or makes a great play. You know, the great players, doesn't matter what sport you're talking about, golf, tennis, football, the great ones have that drive, that inner push to win championships, but to be the best. And again, Joe has all the tools. And this would be a really good summer for him to train, come back, and take the next step, not only to be a better player, be one of the best players in the league, but you know, he has the potential to, based on his talent level and the things that he can do, to, you know, put the team on his back and carry the team. Again, the great ones have that.
A lot was made of the team's youth. Just simply by taking another step, another year for a young team, how many of those issues that you've addressed, the way you handle road versus home and things like that, and going through the adversity that this young team went through, how much will it help automatically just by virtue of another year next year?
I think as we all get older, we get a little bit smarter and wiser. At least we should be. And it's no different with hockey players and trying to educate them and teach them and develop them. They get a little bit a year older, having the experiences that they've gone through. That's why I think postseason and late season important games are so important in development of players. Just understanding how hard it's going to be because it's elevated, the play, the intensity, and you see really what it takes. But just another year is going to help everyone. Help me as a coach, and it'll help our young players. And being a young team, again, that's another thing that gets you excited. You know, a guy like Alex Wenberg and Marco Dano are 2 young kids, and we have a number of young kids down in Springfield that will be pushing for spots next year. And not only are they going to be, well, they should be smarter, experience-wise, but they should get stronger. They should get bigger, you know, put on some weight. And, again, that's making you a better team.
Your job at the World Championship is to be a recruiter of Mike Riley.
Be a recruit? Well, I'm going over there to coach. I'm going over there to coach to win hockey games. Simple as that. And I'm not going to treat him any differently than I treat the other players. I know he's part of this organization as far as being drafted, but I'm going over there to coach. You know, I have the unique circumstance where I get to coach one of our players over there. Well, Jeremy Morin's going too, so there's 2, and that's really what it is. You know, it's a chance for him, I think, to spend some time, see how I go about my business. This is a chance for me to watch him and interact with him. But I'm not going over there to say, boy, you gotta come here and this or that. I got 20 other guys I got to deal with, 20 plus other guys I have to deal with.
Todd, just how much does this mean to you? I know you've been an assistant a couple times for the national team, and maybe now you've got Dan as your assistant. I know you served under him, but just to be the head guy for the federation at this tournament, how much does it mean to you?
It's a great honor and a great privilege. It truly is. It's when I got the call, the only thing I had to check with my wife, make sure we didn't have anything going on, family-wise. But just a great honor, great privilege. It's something red, white, and blue, and I know we have that here, but to have USA across the chest means a lot. A kid growing up in Minnesota, where USA hockey played a big part of my life, and a lot of you know I'm talking about the 80 games and just how it influenced me as a kid, and for the love of the sport and international hockey in particular, and then watching and following some Olympic games, especially 2012 and no, not 12, 2010 in Sochi, Vancouver. I'm getting all mixed up, but it just makes it special. Makes it special and unique, and now to be a part of it and to be asked and honored with the head coaching position means a lot to me, for the history of it and hopefully for the future of it.